Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another non-spoiler review for The Last of Us on HBO. This is episode 4, our review and recap. Uh, this show just don't miss, like Snoop Dogg would say. It just don't miss. It don't miss, y'all. Here with my two co-hosts, LT and Ronan Unchained. What's going on, gents?
This might be my favorite episode. I think
Yeah, it's
this was
kind
it.
of it's kind of
Yeah,
it's kind of fighting for the it's kind of fighting for the top episode for me. Like, Tess had it. Then we're dealing with the previous episode, which we went into, catch the spoiler review on that. But yeah, this one is definitely nailing that top episode for me right now.
now
Yeah,
this one is where fans are gonna have to really start configuring like nonstop. Be like, all right, they're mixing stuff together, and you have to follow through and see if it plays out well for yourself. It played out well for me, but this is where I am. And I'm saying I'm mad or bothered, but I'm just a tiny bit concerned, which is that I love the connection Joe and Ellie are making already, but I first had to go via the game of how broken and dark and distant this man is, and it should take a while before he starts opening up. Now, hence they're doing it kind of differently in the show, and I'm hoping still that there's a big episode or two where like Joel snaps at her, and like it's a big sequence where like are they gonna stick together or not, and hopefully it finds its deeper connection between the two of them later on. And but besides that, if you saw our reaction, I was going like this the whole time, just because aside from what I want of Joel more now, they're getting the vibe between them is great. The adventure vibe of the show is great, and that's besides Bill's Town exploration and gameplay. My favorite moments in the game is the bar scene in the ranch, which I won't, that's all I'm gonna say for right now. And then when they're traveling the truck, that's my favorite part of the game, where I'm just like hanging out with these characters and the dangers around them, but they're not talking about it or vibing it for a brief moment. Oh, this episode.
Ty, what did you like about this episode without spoiling it?
Oh my God, what is there not to like about this episode? I mean, I have to roll with Ronan a little bit um because there were some moments where I was kind of like, he, he's opening up by this episode. Like it seems
Yeah.
kind of fast, but then I have to remember we're not talking about a video game where you spend hours doing other things in between, so when the bonding starts to happen, it pays off. But um we have how do you condense a massive game like the first Last of Us in essentially, a season, and your average streaming season is like 9 or 10 episodes? How do you do that with this? This is so you like we said in our previous reviews, spoiler and non-spoiler, we have to separate the fact that it's not it's based on the game, but it is not the game. So they're taking some liberties, as Naughty Dog has the right to. It's their IP, to give us the things that they want to share, and they have to do it in a condensed amount of time. You're still dealing, and on top of that, you have to also consider the fact that not everybody's played the game. So they're giving you, for the folks that haven't played the game, they're not going to be phased by this at all. They're just saying, it is what it is. Us who have played the game are going to think that way, but I mean, they're knocking it out of the park, man. This is the all-star game. You got Ken Griffey Jr. at bat, and they're just knocking back-to-back home runs in the home run derby.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, we're on episode 4, and they're batting 1,000 still. It's 4-4. Great episode, great ending to the episode,
Yep.
and great little Easter egg they dropped in there, 2 Easter eggs they dropped in there that I was like, it's, and are they giving us? So we'll talk. I'm sure we'll get to it in the spoiler review, but yeah, yeah, great episode. Another,
Yeah.
in the words of DJ Khaled,
Another one. Yeah, no,
use loyal.
this this episode to me had it all. I mean, it had great action in it. It had Joel being a whole pound. It gave you all the different dimensions of Ellie in a short amount of time through different situations, through different interactions, through different comedic moments, and even some emotional ones. They explored brand new characters and connective characters to things that we know. Um, the biggest thing that I'm going to stress is not just with Ronan or anybody else, but you're gonna have to, if you've played this game, you played the first one, second one, you played it multiple different times, you're gonna have to remove that from your veil and just see it for what it really is. Like, I love the different nudges and the different things that they've added from the games, but this experience for both characters, they're progressing very differently than how they do it in the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
that's all intentional.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
perfectly fine. And that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's not, I think some of you guys are going to be a little apprehensive about certain ways characters are maneuvering or where they're going.
Yeah.
But in 9 episodes, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna predict this. I don't think they're even gonna get through the first game in 9 episodes. And at the same time, the narrative has to shift and change differently because this is a different medium. So just be cognizant of that. And I think you'll be fine with the whole entire ride. Because I can promise you this, people that have never played the game at all, they're going to be riveted by this. They're going to be like, oh, I love these characters. Oh,
Yeah.
I need to know more about this. Oh, some people probably are going to get through the second episode and be like, I might need to go back and play the game.
Yeah. I'll
Maybe
give it
even the
that.
first episode.
I'll give it that.
So what I'm saying is that they're doing the groundwork of making sure you are connected to these characters, whether you've known them for years or haven't. And that's all I can ask for in any show. If you can make me latch onto a character for dear life, like when I don't want to spoil it. We'll get into a spoiler review, but there's a
Yeah.
situation where one of our characters was in a bad situation, and the reaction of the other character was just so fascinating. Like, I love that.
Absolutely.
And we'll get into it. But I just can't believe I had another emotional reaction this episode, and it wasn't even from a main character. Like, that's the crazier thing. And that goes back to that human element that I think that Neil and the directors and the writers understand the value of life or death, the value of just people. I think it's very present in this show, and I really appreciate it. 10 out of 10 for me. We'll get into it in our spoiler discussion. Don't know Bottles and Bricks? Go down to the description bar below. Ronan Unchained, unfiltered, uncut. We go all in on these and more. And this one, you don't want to miss our collective discussion. Trust me, because the implications of things that they're talking about, characters that they're going towards, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we're gonna go and we'll be back. Bottles and Bricks, y'all.
What the fuck?